What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week In review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. Last week, I actually got a number of decent views on my WWE Week In review. Got to pick them up, maybe get some likes in there. Give me that thumbs up. Let me know if you like it, if you don't like it, if you like what I'm saying, don't like what I'm saying, think I should change things up. Always looking for feedback. Anyway, this has to be the most talked about week for the wrong reasons that I can remember in WWE. So much stupid decisions. It was bad. It was a bad week. It was a really bad week for WWE creatively. I just on all three shows and you know, not so much on NXT, but there were a couple things that I had issues with, or just some things that just didn't make a lot of sense. But wow, Underground, stupid. Got a little better at the end with Hurt Business, but pretty much stupid. Retribution, fucking terrible. The Fiend, buried. I mean, it is just, ugh. I don't understand. I don't understand how they think that they're in, like, that Vince thinks this is good. But then again, you always see that, and then you wonder why he thinks it's good. This is just who he is. This is what he thinks, and no one's going to tell him differently, because they're either scared or they'll voice their concern. He just does what he wants anyway. So, as always, I go through Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, unfortunately. So I'm going to do that as quickly as I can to get the hell out of here, because this was just an absolute shit show. So we have issues with the lights going out. With this, we're starting with Raw. We have issues with the lights going out and the mics going out and all this stuff, and we're like, oh, what's going on? Well, unfortunately, we find out. So we get a U.S. title match between Apollo and MVP. Welcome back, Apollo. The lights go out again. MVP says he's the real champ. Apollo, go back to catering. Lights keep going out. Apollo's the aggressor early on. Shelton and Lashley pull MVP out of the ring. Apollo with the Tope con Hero takes everybody out. Lashley interfered during the break to give MVP the advantage. MVP with the camel clutch using the bottom rope for some leverage. Obviously going after what was told to us was the injured neck of Apollo. Stinger splash and a spine buster by Apollo for a 2 count. We get Apollo with no sells, a German release, screams, does the toss powerbomb for the win. Lashley goes for the full Nelson, but Apollo escapes with both belts. We then get a backstage interview with Apollo, which seemed more genuine. You know, he's kind of out of breath. You know, obviously just had the win, ran away. He puts over Lashley's strength and why he was out. Thanks MVP for the new belt. MVP grabs the mic and yells at commentary about the working conditions here. He doesn't care about Apollo's wife and kids. He wants the rematch, and then what's his name? Shelton whispers in his ear and he goes, I want it at SummerSlam, as if that was like some kind of secret or something. I don't get it. We get Sasha and Bayley backstage. We get security in front of a room, so that's that huge ninja guy was in front of a room. Something's going down, and it's the brainchild of Shane. Brain dead child. Backstage interview with Bayley and Sasha. They asked if they're going to defend any of the titles at SummerSlam. They brought a promo, to film, and using the movie voice guy, which I thought was pretty funny. And then Asuka is seen at the very end of it, yelling, and revengefully sweet. Obviously, they're not very happy about Asuka getting in there somehow. Shayna shows up. She's waited in line long enough, and then sucker punches Sasha, which I thought was absolutely hysterical. We get KO backstage. The Iconics say they want to be guests on the KO show. He says, maybe next time. He already has guests. He actually plans these things. He doesn't just show up there, which I thought was funny. KO's mic keeps going out. Ruby Riott is his guest. Talks about how long it took to get a singles win. Toxic said broads the Iconics, which I thought was funny. Put an end to the Iconics BS. Says she wishes Liv was out there with her. So KO jumps in real quick, says, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but, and I don't normally do this, but he brings her out. Someone from the crowd says, don't trust her, which I thought was funny. KO says he's been there where it all started for them. KO says he's done a lot. in his past, and he doesn't think it was worth it. All the relationships he destroyed and all the friendships he destroyed, to get ahead. Ruby didn't. Ruby says that she didn't need her, and that hurt because she could see how Liv was moving on. She wants the squad to be stronger than ever. And then the iconic music hits. That it was kind of teary-eyed, on both parts, which I thought was good. It was a little sappy, but it is what it is. But I was just waiting for the Iconics music to hit because you knew that was going to happen. Peyton, Liz, you should have stayed in the bathtub, which I thought was hysterical. They start spitting facts. KO asks for technical difficulties for the Iconics mics only. They both slap him. He goes to the Riot Squad and says, "Hey, can you give me a little help here?" Because obviously he can't hit them. And then they attack backstage again with the big guy from NXT guarding the door. Then we get the Riot Squad versus the Iconics. KO is on commentary. Double team on Ruby to start. Super kick to Billy and a hot tag to Liv. Liv with the roll-up win. It was a really quick match. The Iconics go for their finisher and Ruby breaks it up. They do a double STO on Billy and they leave together. Maybe it's a possible reconciliation. I mean, they weren't like hugging or anything, but they just kind of walked out together. We get backstage with Charlie. Apparently a large box came down. It was not on accident, coupled with the audio issues. It was a stupid freaking box with some equipment in it. It wasn't even that big of a box. It didn't even look like it made that big of a deal. MVP comes out. The story is he lost the title because of these glitches. Apollo apparently has accepted his rematch, so he's okay about that now. Shelton comes up and says someone stole his title belt. He says, all right, well, we're going to figure that out. Drew comes to the ring. Randy preys on vulnerabilities, drops a Stone Cold and The Rock about them. Getting RKO'd is on him. He should have been paying more attention. They were both told at one point that they were the chosen one. Edge said it best. This wasn't your plan A. Evolution cleaned up his mistakes. Drew got fired for his. Randy out with Flair. Why is he here? He made his money because he wants to be here. That's why. That's what Randy says. He admits that he should have been fired. He wasn't because he's more valuable. And he wants one original opinion from Drew because that's all Drew ever says. Drew talks about the last ride and how Undertaker pulled him up. And how many times has Randy done that? Randy actually is just like 0 because he doesn't give a shit. Randy is a selfish prick, and then there are a bunch of receipts, and Randy will see it coming. Oh, my puppy's here. Hi, puppy. Nia's backstage talking to Pat Buck, who she got fined for attacking. We get KO talking to the squad again. Flair pulls him aside, thinks he's being too much of a guidance counselor, trying to take he says he's trying to take a different way to get to the top now. Randy could be the same thing, but he doesn't want to. Has he been watching the show? Randy, Ric Flair's like, have you been watching the show? He's like, you're saying this, but I'm in Randy's corner. So KO challenges Randy next week to a match. Nia's in the ring with Pat Buck. They came here to own up. They show a video recap, but she starts just shitting on Pat Buck. Challenges Buck to a match. She says, are you scared, bro? More fire. She expected more fire for him being a ginger. So then Pat Buck says, no, but you're going to be indefinitely suspended without pay. She then headbutts the shit out of him, kicks him out of the ring. And, it's funny because he's wearing, a white or gray shirt, and she has so much bronzer on that his shirt is just absolutely covered in it. It just looks so ridiculous. Truth runs in, and he has the title. He's being chased by the Ninjas and Shelton. We get a triple threat 24/7 title match. Truth versus Shelton versus Akira Tozawa. Akira letting the other two fight. He tries to roll up Shelton for a 2 count. Shelton no-sells all of Akira into a huge powerbomb. Shelton hits pay dirt on Truth. The Ninjas come in and get beat. MVP and Lashley take out the others. Akira hits a top rope senton on Truth for the win, so he's now the new 24/7 title and runs off. We then get to see a ring with no ropes in a warehouse with 2 guys grappling with other people screaming, and fighting. It looks kind of like shoot fighting. Shane says, welcome to Raw Underground. It starts at 10 p.m. And it's like, that's how you announce it? It's kind of like a throwaway, a kind of lead out to a commercial break. That's it. That's all it was. It was real quick. Oh, by the way, here's Raw Underground. We'll see you at 10. So already we know it's fucking stupid. Already. Raw Underground needs to stay underground. We get a recap of Seth and Dominic from last week. Backstage interview with Dominic. Why take the risk? Maybe he's crazy, but we know why he's doing it. Challenges Seth to a match at SummerSlam. We had Shayna versus Sasha, a non-title match. Sasha obviously with the slap. Shayna fakes and then a back kick, double underhook into an armbar. Sasha gets to the ropes, goes after Bayley. Sasha backstab her on the arm and posts Shayna. Shayna goes for a clutch, then an arm stomp, and then Sasha rolls through for a bank statement. Sasha hits a Rana, and then Asuka comes out and attacks Bayley, and the bell rings. So let me get this straight. Two people fight who are not a part of the match, and the match is ended? Why? No sense, no nothing, so stupid. Asuka then goes after Sasha, who bails. We had an in-ring interview with Asuka after that. Another recap from last week, so basically she has to watch this whole thing while she's been standing there. Wants a rematch at SummerSlam. Shayna comes in, wants her to beat Sasha, actually kind of, puts her over. She wants to take it off Asuka, that's why. Sasha's music hits. It's like, okay, you guys were just all out here, and then it's like you stood outside, and then you're like, hit my music again so I can come out. Just really weird. Sasha says, you can have the match if you beat Bayley next week. So Bayley's not happy about that, but it's kind of a role reversal because how many times have we seen Bayley offer up Sasha in a match, against an opponent? Angel Garza is getting a number from Demi from The Bachelor. Okay. Andrade and Zelina show up, and they're not pleased. They shoo her off. We get another look at Underground. Some guy gets powerbombed, and the ref just calls it. Swerve is there watching. Apparently he's the only one, but they're not wearing a mask besides the ref and Shane. There's girls in lingerie dancing. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculously stupid. We then get Raw Underground. Dabba-Kato, who was Baba Tunde, versus some guy. He just beats the shit out of him. The ref calls it. Someone else jumps in. He elbows until the ref calls that one. Shane raises his hand. Who's got next? We'll be right back. I don't even know what the hell is going on at this point. We then get a pair of singles matches between the tag team title match at SummerSlam. So we get Dawkins versus Garza, and then after that we're supposed to get Ford versus Andrade. So first off is Dawkins versus Garza. Obviously, Street Profits come in through the crowd, doing their dance. Tries to hit on, says Dawkins trying to hit on Demi on the mic. Says they have a real bond. Angel misses, so they have a real bond, unlike Garza and Andrade. We get to the match. Angel misses a spear, gets posted. Dawkins pounces Angel into the plexiglass. Dawkins with the huge flapjack. We apparently get Demi watching backstage. I don't even know why. Dawkins rips the pants, going for the powerbomb. Wing clipper blocked. Gets a straight right. Looked great. Montez starts doing the rope thing while he's on the outside on the bottom rope, and then he collapses. We get Dawkins trying to find out if he's all right. We then get a super kick into a double basement drop kick for the win. Dawkins goes to check on Ford. We then come back from break, and apparently the guy passed out, but for some reason the refs are like, he's okay, he can fight. So then we get Montez Ford versus Andrade. Andrade camel clutch on the middle rope. You get a crazy angle of looking at Ford's face and his eyes popping. Ford appears to be having trouble staying up. Andrade fakes going out to sneak a shot on Ford. Ford powers up, drop kicks Andrade to the outside, does a tope con hero, and then goes for his Ultimate Warrior rope thing again, and then just passes out in the ring. The ref calls for the bell. Medical staff in there. I mean, had we not seen the thing from before, this would have been really concerning. Like, it kind of looked legit, We get Murphy watching what he did to Alistair last week on his phone. Seth is proud of him. Murphy doesn't look sure of himself, asks if Seth thought of Dominic's challenge. It's ridiculous, right? So then we get Underground again. The ladies dancing. They almost have beef between each other. I don't even know what the hell's going on. We get Eric, our first WWE star. He's fighting a jobber. Germans suplex him and sends him to the outside. Does the flip over knee lift, and then that ends that match. We get Charlie on the outside of the trainer's room waiting for an update. Angel shows up to flirt. Zelina and Andrade say they are concerned. What does this mean for the tag team titles? Dawkins comes out, says it might be poison, but he's using his shoot voice, and he sounds completely different. It was very weird. Bianca comes out and says, "What did you do to my husband? What did you give him?" Accuses Zelina. She takes off the earrings and then tries to attack him. It gets broken up immediately. We get security footage from earlier today. Some people dressed like Supposedly, like they look like, you know, quote unquote people that follow Antifa, which apparently there's no political affiliation with it. But I mean, what do you expect people to think when they're dressed in all black with hoodies and masks? You're going to get that association. So they're attacking a generator and they're like celebrating it, like, yay, okay, cool, we blew up a generator. It's with like a Molotov cocktail. It was so stupid, looked so ridiculous. The Hurt Business dressed up on their way out. They're looking to get out of there. Charlie's going down all their losses for the day. MVP blames all the craziness. Shelton says it's a coincidence that Underground came on and all this shit started happening. So MVP says they should go to Underground. We get Seth out to the ring with Murphy. Some housekeeping to tend to. Calls out Tom Phillips. Do you consider yourself a professional, unbiased, pride in your job? Tom cheered Dominic on when he was beating up them last week. Tom looks like he's about to piss his pants. Seth says it's time to find a new voice. Sends Murphy. And then what I was hoping would happen did happen. Joe gets up to defend Tom. Joe does. He goes, you know, you say you don't want this. I do want this. Seth and Murphy then, he starts going to the ring. We go to commercial break. Apparently, Seth and Murphy grab chairs as Joe is trying to get in. Dominic attacks with a kendo stick, does a 619 on Seth, looked great. Splash from the top to the outside on both of them. Seth angrily accepts the challenge. But I did find it funny that Joe went right back to commentary. It's like the guy, Dominic's still basically a kid with no real experience, and he was outnumbered with two guys with chairs. But I did like that Joe. This is not the first time Joe stepped up to Seth like that, so I thought that was really cool. Tom was silent while you could tell he was shook. Obviously, between Joe and Byron were kind of talking about it, and then Tom gives the fist pump to Joe, like, thank you. I like that little moment there. It was like, he's gonna defend his boy, his broadcast partner there. I like that a lot. I can't wait till Joe comes back, even though Joe on commentary is great. We then get another shot of Underground. We get Dolph with in there with the choke. Obviously, they put over his collegiate career. The Hurt Business shows up. Dolph is like, yeah, I don't need to be here anymore. MVP says it's under new management. Who's going to challenge Lashley? Jobber steps in and gets knocked out right away. MVP wants him. They pull in some little guy for him to beat up. The ref calls it. Then Dio Madden finally shows back up after all this time, and this is what they have for him. Shelton takes him down and then shoves him out of the ring. They just start beating everyone up. They say that it's under new management, and then Shane's like, yeah, you guys can hang out as long as you want. Anything goes. But it's like, no, they just said they're taking over. They just said they took you over, Shane. And then that's it. So fucking stupid. Then to NXT, which was the best of the three. Not as great, but still the best of the three. So we get a women's number one contender match of Ripley versus Kai. Still no Raquel and no explanation. Ripcord dropkick by Ripley, spears into the corner. Stalling suplex by Ripley for a 2 count. Hold on 1 second. We get wheelbarrow facebuster by Ripley for a 2 count. Ripley with the body scissors, strikes to the back of the head. Ripley with an electric chair drop onto the apron, which looked vicious. Kai takes control during the picture-in-picture. Morrow finally mentions Raquel, but nothing really about it, just that, she doesn't need Raquel anymore. But not that they've split up or anything. We get a scorpion kick by Kai. Riptide countered into a DDT that looked absolutely phenomenal. Reverse cloverleaf counter to send Ripley into the middle turnbuckle. Kai hits the haluva kick. Mercedes Martinez shows up, kicks Ripley into the post. Top rope GTK by Kai for the win. And then Mercedes with the post-match beatdown. Ripley's nose is busted wide open. Really good match. Obviously the ending was a little fuck finish, but still a decent match. We see the Undisputed Era arriving earlier today, looking just sharp as hell. We see Pat McAfee and HBK talking earlier today. We get Bronson Reed versus Shane Thorne. Remember Shane Thorne? Finally. With his little brief stint on Raw for no reason. Reed no-sell strikes. Thorne with a great suicide dive to the outside. It was phenomenal. Him, Rey Fenix, and Darby Allin, I think, have the best suicide dives. Running senton while Reed is crouched on the top. His senton is also awesome. Shining Wizard by Thorne for a 2 count. Then Reed eventually hits a Death Valley driver into the splash for the win. We get a shot of Breezango arriving earlier today and then attacked by Legado del Fantasma. Fandango's beat up and thrown in the back of the trunk and they drive off. We get a backstage interview with Robert Stonebrand. Stone says that Ripley might be done with them, but they're not done with her. We get a recap of the triple threat from last week. Finn attacks Thatcher, apparently after that match with the 1916. We then get a triple threat match for the North American title. Ladder match. We get Priest versus Ridge Holland versus Oni. This is Ridge Holland's first match on proper NXT. Obviously, he was on NXT UK. Big dude. Huge. Oni with the Tope con Hero on both of them. Holland showing great power, laying everyone out. Oni with the somersault senton. Double blockbuster by Oni for a 2 count on Holland. Single leg crab by Priest. Single leg crab on Priest. Holland pounces Oni. Holland with the gut wrench powerbomb on Priest. Oni breaks the count. Oni and Holland hulk up. Priest with the choke bomb on Holland. Reckoning on Oni for the win. Basically, he's the first favorite to win one of these matches. So right now we have Dexter Lumis, we have Bronson Reed, and we have Priest. But obviously that's going to change. We'll talk about that later. We get a recap of Cole and McAfee for their feud. We then get Lee versus Grimes. Cameron Grimes going straight to the moon. He's so funny. With Grimes keeping his distance, talking trash. Lee is no-selling everything and knocking Grimes down over and over again. Grimes goes for a drop kick to the knee. Sent knee first into the barricade. Moonsault. He sent knee first into the barricade. Moonsault from the top to the outside, all by Grimes. Lee back on top, fun splash for a 2 count. Big Bang countered to a roll-up, which I thought was really innovative for a 2 count. Hits the collision course on Lee, which is huge because Lee is just a big dude for a 2 count. Ridiculous spirit bomb for the win. I mean, he bounced. He looked like he was broken in half. He just hit and just shot back up and was just unconscious. The lights go out. Scarlett's speaking another language. Crosses on the Tron. He says, I guess we're going to do this the hard way. And then they pan out because all you see kind of is like his eyes. And they pan out and he's choking out, I think it's Danny Burch. And just you see everyone in the back, in the PC just beat up. The place is destroyed. We get Undisputed Era prepping for their match. And then we get Regal video sent in discussing the North American title matches. Says Lumis had an ankle injury. He's not going to be able to compete. So those that weren't pinned or submitted will be in singles matches for the final 2 spots. So we get then Legado Fantasma comes from the back. They drag in Fandango. Lucha isn't meant to exploit or for easy merch money. The disrespect stops now. Breeze comes in, but he gets beat. They call out Swerve. Fantasma says, speak his name, and this will be your future. Remember Drake Maverick, everyone? Remember Drake? They made this big thing about him, pleading about his job, crying, became huge on social media. They had this huge run with him. Everyone was excited for it. He gets the contract, the big emotional moment with Triple H. Triple H comes out with the contract, and that's it. Did he get injured? I haven't heard anything. He might be injured, but even so, that's it. Did Drake actually think he was going to get used? Did they think he was going to have any kind of significant run? No. I don't understand it. He could have just gone anywhere else. But, as usual, typical WWE. So we got a recap of Undisputed Era's history in the tag division. Obviously, their 3 title wins. Priest interview in the parking lot. He says it sucks to be Lumis, obviously. Bronson congratulates him, but then Priest comes over, and they start jawing at each other, and Priest challenges him to a match anytime, anywhere. We get Pat McAfee on commentary. Apparently he got married this weekend. Alright, stupid birthdays. So he got married this weekend, but he's back in the Undisputed Era's good graces. It's water under the bridge. We get Tegan Nox versus Indy Hartwell. Apparently Candice was talking trash on Twitter about last week, so I'm assuming we're going to get some match between Tegan and Candice, who they basically just forgotten about. They did this whole thing about Johnny and Candice being the big heels of NXT, and they're just forgotten about. What? I don't know what the hell that was. What the... That was weird, because I think that was my Bixby or something. But anyway, so we get Indy starts talking about how she beat Shotzi. We get Cannonball Senton, Shiniest Wizard for the win. Pretty quick match for Tegan Nox. Obviously, Indy had that one win against Shotzi, and I think that's going to be it for her for a while. We see Imperium prepping for their match. Next week, we get another North American qualifier. Kushida versus Grimes versus Mystery Person. Priest versus Reed. And Cross versus Danny Burch, who wants to get redemption for getting beat up. We then get the NXT title match, tag team title match, our main event of Imperium versus Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era is out in full force. Eichner and Kyle are going at it. Tom keeps going with McAfee and Cole, keeps baiting him into saying more and more stuff. McAfee keeps going with Cole where he's in earshot. Even Beth gets annoyed and eventually leaves commentary because it's so... I just found that stupid. It's so disrespectful. Meanwhile, there's so many worse things that have been said on commentary that Beth is not left for, so I just don't get that. We get a spinebuster PK combo on Fish. Cole is grilling McAfee. Kyle in and clearing house. McAfee drove Beth away. I put because it just made no sense. Diving knee by Kyle into a knee bar on Bartel. McAfee keeps going with the short chokes, which I think is at this point it's a little too much. Double springboard moonsault by Eichner to break up that submission. Cole goes over to commentary. He's like, "I can hear you. I thought we buried the hatchet." Telling him to chill out. He's like, I'm not suggesting it. I'm telling you. And then Cole hits him with some water. Says, "What are you going to do about it?" And it gets broken up by the refs. HBK and Triple H are out there. Fish gets hit with the European bomb during the distraction for the win. Pat comes back to call him an itty bitty bitch. Cole absolutely flips out. He's trying to get on the table, trying to go after him, and then Pat starts to leave, comes back, and absolutely punts Adam Cole in the head, who goes straight face down into the floor. I mean, even Triple H is shoving Pat, so it looks kind of legit. And he's like, "Yeah, you got a real professional area here." So now I guess, and then we find out that Triple H challenged Pat McAfee for Cole for a match at Takeover. So here's my thing. I actually like Pat McAfee, and I'm talking trash on him. I'm older than Pat McAfee. I'm 3 years older than Pat McAfee. That's how ridiculous it is. I didn't even realize how young he was. He's only 33 years old. I think he's great at what he does. I think he's great on commentary. I think he is a good interview. I think he's got, he loves what he does. He loves WWE. I think he's great. Apparently he's been training with a ring at his own place. He is a big dude. He played many years in the NFL. Yes, he was a punter, but that doesn't matter. You can be... look at Steve Weatherford. The guy was like a Greek god, with a body like that. He's jacked as all hell. You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean anything. You have to be in shape. You have to be able to go to be in the NFL. So there's that. He's been training, but Adam Cole can't... Adam Cole is one of the best there is in WWE right now. How unless there's going to be some kind of stipulation against him, or there's going to be some kind of, pre-match attack or something like that, Pat McAfee shouldn't stand a chance. So there's that. Obviously, takeovers are supposed to be meant for the best matches, but it seems like they just need to boost ratings, which they did. They boosted ratings, just not as much as AEW, which had a tremendous ratings thing, even though I didn't talk about it on my AEW review. But it's just... I don't know how I feel about it. I'll give it to see what happens. Obviously, it's a couple of weeks before we get to TakeOver. How much training has Pat McAfee really done? Is he really there? I don't know. So this was really interesting. I can go either way on it right now. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because it's NXT, but I am a little concerned of the direction that they're going. They're trying to be a little too WWE and not stick with what they were famous for and what's made them so great. And then finally, oh my god, what a fucking shit show this was. What a shit show SmackDown was, let me tell you. We get a recap of the Swamp Fight, recap of last week with Bliss. We then get a Firefly Funhouse. All the pics on the wall are now of Braun. Apparently haters were trolls were sliding into his DMs, blaming him for Bliss. They should blame Braun. The Fiend is waiting for him. If you give him what he wants, she will see what... If Braun doesn't give him what he wants, she will see what he's really made of. We then get Riddle versus Sheamus. Recap of Corbin and Gable from last week. Didn't keep his bar fight gear on. Sheamus went back to his old gear, which kind of sucks. I wish he would have kept the other stuff on. Sheamus with a vicious headlock takedown. Riddle with the Fujiwara. And then he seems to give it up for a pin attempt, which I thought was weird. Sheamus with the big powerbomb. 10 beats of the whatever by Sheamus. Sheamus knocked off the top rope. hits the Irish Curse backbreaker 3 times for a 2 count. Riddle with the stiff roundhouse kick to the head. Pele kick by Riddle, forearms, an exploder, and a Broton, all for a 2 count. Sheamus hits the white noise air crash for a 2 count. Bro kick countered into a stalling German with a bridge for a 2 count. Sheamus gets posted. Then Gable attacks on the outside for the DQ win. Riddle then absolutely beats the shit out of Gable. Just beats the shit out of him, smashes him into the commentary table, throws him into the stairs, kicks him while he's against the stairs. Sheamus is pissed off, brings Gable into the ring. Bro kicks him, gets on the mic, says that he's pissed off about this, and then Bro kicks him again. So Gable just absolutely got buried again. Just absolutely shit kicked out of him. You thought this was going to be, okay, maybe, he's going to turn heel, or maybe he's just going for the money, but whatever. No, they just kicked the shit out of him. Made him an absolute punching bag. Sheamus then confronts Corbin backstage. Corbin's talking to some girl, Sarah. I don't think she's from any TV show or anything. They didn't really talk about that. Sheamus threatens Corbin. Corbin says if he didn't have to deal with Hardy right now, he'd put a dent in Sheamus' head or something like that. And Sheamus says, I'll shove it up your arse, the crown. We then get the dirt sheet. No one is as underground as John Morrison, he jokes. We get a recap of Mandy and Sonya. They're getting mic issues, and then Morrison says, Retribution not even scheduled for tonight. And Miz is like, yeah, and aren't you guys on Raw? They're going to use their influence to give back and give the voice to the voiceless, so their guess is Mandy's hair. This is pretty cringe and stupid. I chuckled a little bit. Mandy's hair, Mandy didn't reach out once to her. They Photoshop me in. They bring out Sonya. What's the issue? She did everything she said she was going to do. Sonya's just absolutely killing it, shitting on the crowd, saying, you're expecting the music to hit and her to come out and get her retribution. It's not going to happen. Makes fun of her getting a bumpy award for making out with Otis. Heavy Machinery came out to clean house. Otis actually does have the briefcase now. Sonya's abusing the Miz Morrison for getting thrown out of the ring. He's like, what's wrong with you guys? We then get Cesaro versus Lince Dorado. Tilt-a-whirl head scissors. The lights start to dim again. We get a springboard caught into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Springboard stunner for Lince. Shinsuke distracts, and then Cesaro looks like he's about to do a Razor's Edge, which I thought was okay, that's pretty cool. But then it gets countered into an arm drag, into a pin for a 2 count. He then hits the Gotch-style neutralizer for the win. So obviously we're going to get Lucha House Party versus Shinsuke and Cesaro for the tag team title because there's literally nobody else. Otis is fired up backstage, says he's a funny guy, but they cross the line. He's used to it, but when they go after his peach, he's going to go after them. So then we get the Fiend entrance. Okay, cool, the Fiend is coming in. But then we go to commercial break. And then when we come back from commercial break, Alexa's in the ring. Wearing the same thing as she did last week. Was she kidnapped? How did she get there? Did she teleport into the ring? Obviously we know these were both filmed last week, so there you go. But it just made no sense. There was nothing there, and then she's just sitting there what do I do? What do I do? So stupid. She doesn't look as scared. She looks more entranced. He does the thing where he crawls over to her, brings the hand he's gonna do the mandible claw again. She stops the hand, starts to caress the mask. He turns away, gets all pissed off. Braun shows up on the Tron. Did you think playing with my emotions would work? He says, I don't give a damn about Alexa. What? Then what the fuck the point? So the Fiend just wasted his time. We all thought, okay, this is interesting. Going after a woman the first time, he's attacked a woman, and it's, obviously someone that has a connection to Braun. Okay, this is now it's all thrown out the window. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about Alexa now? What does it matter? Now what? Is she going to start going with the Fiend, or is she just going to go back to normal? I got attacked, I got mandible clawed, and that was it. It just doesn't make any sense. Braun now says he's the most evil son of a bitch ever because he knew that there were only 2 options. He would either turn into the most son of a bitch or he'd stand tall. I think, I don't even exactly remember. And then he's like, at SummerSlam, you're going to face your fears. You're going to face the monster. Okay. I did not get this. And then the Fiend just looks like a moron now. It's like you thought you were being slick going after Alexa, trying to piss him off. Well, apparently not. It backfired on you. We get Hardy versus Corbin. Corbin goes for the slide-in out and misses the clothesline. Fight on the outside. Corbin takes advantage. Tries to do the slide a second time, but Corbin catches a basement dropkick. Corbin hits a deep 6 for a 2 count. Asuka-style knee by Corbin. And then Sheamus comes out. Bro kicks Hardy to give him the DQ win. and they start jawing at each other, Corbin and Sheamus. For someone that was supposedly done with Jeff Hardy, I guess Jeff Hardy, was just a victim of being of circumstance of being there, but he then just teleports out. He had literally nothing to do. Because we come back from break and we get Sheamus versus Corbin in a hoss battle. Fight to the outside. Corbin takes advantage. Sheamus clotheslines Corbin over the top. Corbin thrown into the barricade commentary table. Sheamus posted a second time tonight. Corbin with the $1 Million Dream. Sheamus fights back to his feet. Riddle with the distraction. He goes to the top, kind of jumps over Corbin so that he doesn't touch him. And then while he's distracted, Sheamus hits a bro kick for the win. Bayley is backstage looking frustrated. Bayley isn't happy that Sasha didn't ask her beforehand. Sasha needed her, and that's why she did it. Then we get this little snot-nosed PA who can't hide his cheesy smile. He's like, Stephanie McMahon needs you in the ring. It's but he's laughing the whole time. Make no sense. Just looks stupid. Backstage interview with Big E. Talks about his singles run. Puts over the WWE Universe. He will give this run all of himself. New Day Rock, blah, 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 blah. We get Bayley and Sasha in the ring. Stephanie's on the Tron. They start talking about, kissing her ass, about the Evolution, the WWE Network, $9.99. Stephanie won't punish them. Sasha will defend against Asuka at SummerSlam. And for Bayley, there will be, if obviously she'll defend at SummerSlam, most likely against Asuka. And for Bayley, there's going to be a triple brand battle royal for who will face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam, but kind of mentioned as if it was people that have crossed paths with Bayley. So be interesting to see who will be in that and who will they give it to. I don't think it's going to be anyone from Raw. If anything, it'll be someone from NXT or SmackDown. But SmackDown is really nobody, especially people that have had their problems with her. So I don't know. So then we get a backstage interview with Miz and Morrison. Sonya is out with them. Let me see. Hold on. So then we get a match with them. We get a match with. That's what I meant to say. Match with Miz and Morrison versus Heavy Machinery. They did have a backstage interview at first. We're then out to the ring. The Heavy Machinery is kind of just being a little too jokey to be as pissed off as they were. They were doing the bushwhacker thing. We're back from commercial. Morrison is taking out Tucker. Tucker with the hot tag to Otis. Does the caterpillar to Morrison. Miz breaks the count. Otis gets sent into the steps. Then Mandy comes out. She's got a little new haircut now. A little shorter haircut. Still looks obviously beautiful. I mean, come on. And then the match, of course, gets thrown out. What do you know? We then get... guys can't be separated. Fight to the backstage. Then the lights go out. Adam Pearce is in there trying to break them up. We then get okay, here we go. Retribution is out to the ring with weapons, and they run the commentary table off. They run the camera guys off. They start taking out the NXT audience. Apparently there's 3 men, 2 women. There is speculation that the 2 women are Vanessa Bourne and what's her name? Chelsea Green. Vanessa Bourne I don't care about because, she didn't do much in NXT. I thought she had some promise. Obviously, she had, she was a Lakers cheerleader, I think. So she's got athletic ability, but she didn't really show enough in the ring. And she really wasn't used that much. It was her and Aaliyah doing the bougie stuff. Sorry, I'm kind of tilting here. I'm scratching an itch. But Chelsea Green needs to be nowhere near this. If this is her, that is so ridiculous. Is it some kind of punishment because Matt Cardona is now on AEW or something? I just don't get it. It would be so stupid. She was, they were running her up the ladder there. She teamed with Charlotte. They had a great thing there. She was with Robert Stone brand, then ditched Robert Stone, and Robert Stone is now, prevalent on NXT, where Chelsea Green hasn't been seen once. And the 3 guys, all of them combined, looked like they were 5'5" or below. It looked ridiculous. It looked like anybody could beat them up. They had pipes and bats and whatever is bullshit. So they start destroying the commentary table, aka just knocking it over because it's made of piece of twigs. They got spray paint out, and one of them sprays like a WWE logo with a line through it, and it doesn't even. They're all like cheering. They're like, "Yeah, let's do this. This is our countdown, yeah!" And then apparently one grabs a small chainsaw and to the ropes, and the ropes get broken, and they're all cheering, and it just was so stupid. This was so dumb. Please stop this. Like, what is wrong with you people? And by people, I mean Vince. What is wrong with you? This is dumb. It makes no sense. They're small. I mean, now granted, these people might not be the same ones. I don't know if it's just going to be a 5-man faction. It's going to be bigger. I mean, the whole idea of Retribution in my mind was going to be, okay, they were people that were fired, that came back, and maybe they, do this until they get a new contract or something like that. Maybe, okay. But it's like, who is it going to be? I mean, there were some rumors that it was going to be Dijakovic. He wasn't fired, and he obviously wasn't one of these guys because, I mean, these guys were all short and small, and, like, they're wearing baggy clothes. You don't even know how small they really are or if they're jacked or not. I mean, this just didn't make any sense. It was so dumb, so stupid, so disappointing. And, obviously a lot of times, you hear me when I say, I'll give it a chance. Let's wait and see. We'll see what happens. That's my famous one. We'll see what happens. But, like, wow, this was terrible. Terrible way to end the week. Terrible way to leave off SmackDown. And there you have it. So that is my WWE Week In review. What a fucking dumpster fire this week was. Just so much going on. So much not positive stuff. As always, I always give my match of the week. It was really tough because there really wasn't that much. I'm going to give it to Ripley versus Kai, even though there was a fuck finish here. I really liked the match. I thought some of the cool things, the electric chair into the apron. I thought the counter of the Riptide into the DDT. Kai with some really cool stuff. Her GTK at the end was vicious. The Mercedes Martinez thing, listen, everyone thought that Mercedes Martinez needed a big feud to start. I like that she's going there. I mean, it kind of sucks for Ripley because it just seems like they're just, they had the rocket ship on her and then just took it off for no reason. And since then, she's just kind of floundering. But hopefully, this feud with Mercedes Martinez starts to elevate her again because she's great. And Kai needs, a push as well. Now that apparently she doesn't have Raquel anymore, they still have to explain that. That just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, yeah, so that is my WWE Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that other good stuff. Social media is down there. Give me a chance. Let me know what I'm doing. Right, wrong, otherwise. Troll me if you need to. I don't care. And as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.